call the regular council meeting to order at 7:34 for June 10th, 2025. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Here.
Mr. Bellin?
Here.
Mr. Fury?
Here.
Mrs. Labby? Here. Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Bonacci?
Here.
Mrs. Walker?
Present.
All right, so Ms. Walker will lead us in the invocation and pledge of allegiance this evening.
O God, from whom all power comes, by whose divine will all must abide, we thank you for our civil liberties and freedom, for our opportunities and our privileges. We beg of you to bless, assist, and enlighten this council and representatives of the city of Twinsburg. May we prove worthy of the confidence placed in us by our fellow citizens. May we be just and upright in their thinking, honest in all of our actions, and ever be guided by a true conscience in the legislation we propose or vote upon. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks. Appreciate that. All right, has everybody had a chance to review the minutes of the regular council meeting on May 27, 2025?
I make a motion we accept the minutes as submitted.
All right, Mr. Fury makes a motion. Anyone like to second that meeting? All right, Ms. Walker seconds that meeting. Any discussion on those minutes? All right, hearing none. Shannon, call the roll, please.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby? Yes. Mr. Bellin?
Abstain.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yeah, so approval of the minutes passes 6-0. And next, that brings us to awards and presentations. Do we have any awards or presentations this evening?
We have none this evening.
Okay. Shannon, will you please call the first person to sign up?
We have one this evening.
We only have one, okay.
Daniel Morton.
Welcome, Daniel. So just a reminder, when you start, just say your name, your address, and then you'll have 5 minutes.
So Daniel Morton, 11351 Heritage Drive, Twinsburg, Ohio. So I'm actually the chair of the Jedi Committee, and so I come to you in that capacity. I wanted to make sure that the committee knows that we're continuing our planning and work on our Family Diversity Day that is being held Saturday, July 26th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Glen Chamberlain Park. We're doing this in coordination with Parks and Rec. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of it, and if there are any questions, to let me know.
That's great.
Thank you.
Perfect. Does anybody
Thank
have
you.
any questions for me?
Would you say the date again, please?
Yes, it's July 26th, Saturday, July 26th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
So we have
And that's all we have. Okay. Perfect. That brings us to Council Communications. Mr. Barr, if you'd like to start, and then maybe we'll start with you, Mr. Fury.
Since our last meeting, none of my committees have met. The next meeting of the Planning Commission is scheduled for Monday, June 16th at 6:30 here in Council Chambers. That concludes my report.
All right, great report. Ms. Walker.
My Jedi Committee meeting, they were supposed to meet on Monday, but we didn't have a quorum, so that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is that the first time that's happened?
Yes.
No, second.
I was gonna say, did we have a second?
Second, last month, there was a special meeting that didn't have a quorum.
Okay, because I thought I remember the Jedi.
Yeah, and then it's Monday.
All right, so are we keeping tabs on who's not showing? Just for us?
well, if the meeting is not held, there's no attendance
Right, I
necessarily
just
taken.
want to make sure that they're, okay. All right, no, I understand that. I'm just saying. Okay, perfect. Ms. Labby.
Thank you. Good evening. None of my committees have met since the last meeting. The next Finance Committee meeting will be June 24th at 6:30. The next scheduled BZA meeting will be June 25th at 5:30. And like Daisy said, the Jedi meeting that was supposed to be yesterday did not have a quorum, which was a little concerning as they're in the throes of planning this Family Diversity Day. So they're trying to schedule an alternative meeting now, either on June 30th or July 14th. And that's all I have to report today.
All right, thank you. My committees have not met as well, and I have nothing to add. Thank you. Mr. Bellin.
Good evening. I do apologize for missing our last council meeting. I was attending the Twinsburg High School graduation for my son Grayson that evening. Congrats to him, congrats to Mrs. Collins' son, and the rest of the graduating Tigers. The Public Works Committee meeting scheduled for this evening was canceled due to lack of agenda items. The next meeting of the Public Works Committee will be on Tuesday, October 14th at 6 p.m. here in Chambers. Mrs. Labby mentioned the Finance Committee on June 24th, and the next meeting of the Safety Committee will be on Tuesday, July 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. here in Chambers. Nothing further this evening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Bonacci.
Good evening. Since our last meeting on May 29th, the Parks and Recreation group had a work session in which they discussed their mission statement, and I believe they sent that forward to be published to the website, and a community survey. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission is June 26th. Also would like to bring attention to Summit County or Stowe Municipal Court is having an expungement day on June 25th. When folks have challenges in their background, from my perspective as an HR practitioner, it creates a major barrier to finding employment. Oftentimes employers look favorably on individuals who have taken the steps to have the records expunged and sealed. So that's a great opportunity that's happening at Stowe Municipal Court for folks that have faced charges in that court to get those things squared away so they can maybe advance on into their life. That concludes my report.
Thank you. I do have one question, actually. Do you know the mission statement? Do you have it with you? I'd love to hear it.
Hold on one second.
If you don't have it easily accessible,
I'll get it.
forward it.
I'll get it. I had it.
I'll tell you what, why don't we go to Mr.
Yep.
Fury, then we'll come back to you. How's that? Mr. Fury, you want to?
Sure, that'd be fine.
That's perfect.
On June 5th, the Architectural Review Board met. There were 3 cases. First was a sign for Carroll Construction Company. There were some questions on the materials and the brightness that would be put so close to a major road, so that's been tabled, and they're going to come back with some samples of what they want to put up at the next meeting. Case 250617 was a new sign for Let's Get Storage. It passed unanimously 3-0. And then lastly, there was a new porch roof addition at 1672 Glenwood Drive. That was case 251618, and that passed unanimously. The next meeting of the Architecture Review Board is going to be June 19th at 6 p.m. Did want to mention it that Valerie Wales attended the May 15th meeting, and we were covering those minutes, and she passed away the following week. I understand there's going to be a celebration of life scheduled, but we don't have that date as of yet. But there are condolences to her family, and thank you for her service to the city. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Got it?
Yes, Mr. Post. Sorry it took me so long to find it.
please
Things
don't
got out of
apologize.
order in my notes, and I apologize for
I
that.
caught you off guard. I was just, I know we've been talking about it for a while, the missions for the group, so I'd love to hear it.
So what they've approved 4-0 in their work session is the City of Twinsburg's Park and Recreation Commission is an advisory board powered by community members from each ward. We strive to improve and enhance the quality of life for all residents by encouraging the preservation of our natural spaces, promoting active lifestyles, recommending new programs, and supporting special events in our community. From playgrounds to nature trails, sports to special events, and more, we believe in building a vibrant city.
I like that.
Pretty good.
I like that. I think it's pretty specific. It's, I like that. It's good. Real good. Nice job with that. I know you're taking the lead with that, so nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Scafidi.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. On June 5th, if you all recall, we have a firefighter medic named Izzy Abdallah. And not too long ago, he was woken early in the morning by, there was a car crash in front of his house, and actually they hit his car. When he went outside to see what happened, his car was in his neighbor's yard. And so it was obvious that the person that hit his car was in distress. And so he went to work on this gentleman, and through his efforts and getting a hold of he lives in Parma, and getting hold of the Parma Police Department, we're happy to say that what Izzy did saved this man until Parma medics got there and were able to bring him to the hospital, and he's living live and well today. The reason I tell that story is because on the 5th, the Red Cross does an annual event that they have. It's the Red Cross Hero Awards. And Izzy was nominated for one of those awards. It was held downtown at the Marriott Key Tower. So the chief and I went down there to that morning to see Izzy receive his award, and there was probably maybe 10 or 12 other people that received hero awards. But it was just so proud to see one of our firefighter medics be down there and be able to receive this award based on their life-saving efforts. And you know, we've had other incidents here in town that have happened, and our people have been able to save and bring people back. So you know, we've got a really good group there, and I just want to shout out to Izzy, number one, because this was his award. It was a really nice event as well. But to all of our safety forces, for all that they do for us, because they do an excellent job. On June 7th, Liberty Park Nature Center turned 10 years old. Wow. And Bill, if you remember, we were there probably 10 years ago when that thing opened, when the ribbon cutting. And really, Kathy Prokop at the time, our mayor, and Keith Shy from the Metro Parks they collaborated together to bring this nature center together at Liberty Park. And today, the Metro Parks runs the facility. And so I got to go down there, and they had a really nice event that day. They had all kind of tables and stands and so on and so forth. They had probably about 500 people come through there. It was really an amazing event. So those are some of the great things that go on here in Twinsburg. And again, when I told the director there, I said, I'm just so proud that this facility is in our city. And I hope that the residents realize how lucky we are. And if they've never been there, please make sure you go visit that nature center. It's really nice. It's just right off of Liberty Road before our Liberty Park, where all the playing fields are. And there's a nice long driveway, and you go back there. Back there they've got great trails. They've got a nice facility there, and it's very knowledgeable. If you have kids, bring your kids over there, because the kids were having a great time. They really enjoyed it. And then on the 9th, we had a ribbon cutting, something I really love to talk about. We got another new business that opened in our community. It's called Better Together Dentistry, and it's a husband and wife dentist that one's a orthodontist and one is a dentist. And they took the building on 82 that's right behind Walgreens. If you remember the little building there, there used to be a donut shop, I think, at one time. Mm-hmm. And what they did to this building, they upgraded it. The landscaping is beautiful. The outside of the little building is beautiful. And what they did inside, you wouldn't believe it. They've done a great job with that. So if anybody has a toothache, please go visit them, guys, because I think they're going to do very well there. And it was really nice to be there with them when they cut the ribbon. Finally, I want to talk about something that happened more recent. Today, as a matter of fact, which I didn't realize was happening until I saw people gather outside in front of City Hall. But I'd like to read it for you real quick. Our police department, Sergeant Mahork and Officer Wazlowski, they represented the Twinsburg Police Department in the law enforcement run torch run. It was held this afternoon, by the way. They carried the flame of hope through our city as it made its way to Hudson. All to support the Special Olympics, an incredible cause that empowers athletes through competition, friendship, and achievement. This year was extra special as the officer and sergeant were joined by some amazing buddies, which are some of the Special Olympics folks. They were joined by these buddies from Strong Buddy Academy, a local 501c3 right here in Twinsburg. They want to give a huge shout out to Brett Ferrara and the Buddy Strong team for partnering with our officers and helping to make this day really unforgettable. And so they went from the Mctarian, what do you call it?
Memorial.
The memorial, right, the McTarrion Memorial, and they had an escort in front of them, they had the police golf cart, they had police cars in front of them and behind them, and these young people, young and old people, and some of our officers were there, and they were doing the run, because this run was going then, it was gonna end, and we were passing off the torch in Hudson. So they went from the memorial all the way down to 91, to Darrow Road. At that point, some of the young people got tired, and so they had a nice SUV for them, and they jumped in there, but some of our folks still continued to run all the way up to, what do you call it?
Book of numbers up there?
No, to the rib place over there. On
Oak
Hudson.
Numbers.
Oak Embers, yeah, Oak and Embers, yeah. So they ran up to Oak and Embers, and that's where they passed off the torch. So it was really a nice event. It was nice to see when they went by. You know, we were all standing out there. Shannon was out there. A lot of the department heads were out there, and we were clapping for them, and they were just, it was just cheering them on, and it really turned out to be a really great event that happened here in front of our city hall today, and in cooperation with our police department. So I want to thank them for all the good work and all the positive stuff that we do here in the city of Twinsburg, between our departments and our residents and just staff and everybody. We should all be really proud of what we have here going in Twinsburg, and just be proud to live here and work here. If you work here, it's really a great place to be. With that, I will wrap up my report. Thank you.
That's awesome. Awesome. Any department heads tonight that want to speak? Any department heads?
No.
I do post.
Oh, I'm sorry, Christina. Last minute entry.
Last minute. A great entry.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to make council aware. So last year at the Capital Improvement Board and also at the Finance Committee, the fire department had requested to replace 10 sets of SCBA equipment. We had budgeted $185,000 for phase 1 of 3 of that project. The fire department has requested that we move that back to 2026. For whatever planning purposes that they have, they would like to move that project back. However, they do have some communications equipment, some radios that really need to be replaced. The fire chief admitted that was omitted inadvertently from their capital plan last year, so they would like to, swap out that project for the radios. So the radios are $38,000. They do come in under the competitive bidding threshold, but we did want to make council aware that we were making a change to what capital improvements had previously approved last year. So I don't think any action needs to be taken. We just want to make you aware that one of the projects is being pushed back, but we're supplementing with something else.
So are we supplementing just to hold us over basically for the year?
No, so the radios were an item that Chief Basso wanted to get. I think they were just omitted. They do need to be replaced. So it is I want to say it's 6 or 8 radios with the maintenance. It's $38,000 for the full replacement of those.
Gotcha. So, all right. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. That brings us to legislation. Ordinance 47, 2025.
An ordinance amending Chapter 911 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Twinsburg to provide for adjustments of the charges for quarterly rates of the Twinsburg sanitary sewer system and declaring an emergency.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to adopt Ordinance 47, 2025 as an emergency. May I have a second?
Second.
All right. Mr. Bellin, seconds. Any further discussion? Nope. All right. Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
All right. So the ordinance passes 7-0 as an emergency. Ordinance 48, 2025.
An ordinance amending Chapter 913 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Twinsburg to provide for the position title change from Public Works Director to Director of Wastewater Treatment.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to adopt Ordinance 48, 2025. May I have a second?
No second.
Ms. Labby seconds. Any further discussion on that? All right, Janet, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
All right, so ordinance 48, 2025 passes 7-0. Ordinance 49, 2025.
An ordinance rezoning certain property located at 9392 Ravenna Road, Twinsburg, Ohio, parcel 64-00096 from C2 commercial use to I1 intensive commercial and light industrial use.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 49, 2025. May I have a second?
A second.
All right, Mr. Bellin seconds. Any other discussion on that?
I just wanted, I had one resident reach out to me, and they were concerned about the term intensive commercial. And once I explained to him what that actually was and what was going to go in there, he was actually very excited to see what was going in there. So he had a question about the vocabulary more than anything, so.
Mr. Postma, could this also pass planning commission unanimously?
Perfect, perfect.
This will be a significant improvement to that area. So, very much in support of this.
Nice. All right, Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
All right, ordinance 49, 2025 passes 7-0. All right, ordinance 50, 2025.
An ordinance amending chapter 195, Twinsburg Occupancy Program regarding the eligibility and administrative provisions therefore.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 50, 2025. May I have a second?
A second.
All right, Mr. Fury seconds. At this time, I'd like to amend the ordinance to remove the one at the bottom of the table on page 3. It should be 13 million plus, and so that one will simply need to become a plus.
I second the motion.
Mr. Fury seconds the motion. Any discussion on the motion to amend? No. Shannon, call the roll, please.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
All right, so that motion passes 7-0. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 50, 2025 as amended. Right?
No.
Do I have to do that?
No,
You already had it.
no,
But even though we amended it,
that's correct.
I don't have to make a motion to
Adopt as
adopt it
amended.
as amended?
No, the first motion, you've already made the motion to pass the measure, and you received the second. You then had a motion to amend that motion.
Okay,
And that passed, so now the primary or original motion sits as amended before the body.
it's automatically
ready for-
amended.
Yeah, it's ready for discussion and vote.
Okay, so the more you know, right?
Call the roll.
So the more, right, so we don't have to do it as amended, okay? Good to know, thank you. Shannon, any other questions? Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
All right, so ordinance 50, 2025 passes 7-0. Ordinance 52, 2025.
An ordinance amending ordinance 153, 2013 to eliminate both the Twinsburg Community Improvement Corporation funding through transient guest taxes and Twinsburg Community Improvement Corporation's responsibility to process applications and monitor the city's community reinvestment area and Twinsburg occupancy programs.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 52, 2025. May I have a second?
A second.
All right, Mr. Fury seconds. Any discussion on ordinance 52, 2025?
So what this will do is no longer will the city put 50% of the bed tax towards the CIC. The CIC has some money that they have in accounts. They'll be used for future grant programs, and we could fund the CIC in the future if we needed to, but at this time, we chose to go a different way.
Awesome, thank you for that. Any other discussion? All right, Shannon, call the roll, please.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
All right, ordinance 52, 2025 passes 7-0. Ordinance 53, 2025.
An ordinance amending Chapter 351, Parking Generally, of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Twinsburg to amend the city's parking code to ban overnight on-street parking in residential districts, parking on the fire hydrant side of the residential streets, and on-street parking during snow emergencies.
All right, thank you, Ms. Collins. I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 53, 2025. May I have a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Benacci seconds. Any discussion on this? We've talked about this for a few weeks now. It's on its third read.
So-
did you-
So as we implement this new overnight parking ban, will we be putting additional no parking signs out throughout the city?
Yes,
Okay.
we will.
And it's my understanding we're going to do some warnings to educate people that we were changing these rules. For instance, the first time you get a warning before you get a ticket.
Yeah, well, they've been doing that when we started to strictly enforce the current, how it currently stood.
Okay.
And so I'm
Because
sure
there's-
that now that we've made some adjustments to it, that'll continue.
That's fine, because
Yeah.
there's just not too many streets that I drive through around Ethan's that there aren't people having cars overnight parked in the street. And I'm not, I mean, so it doesn't appear that we've been enforcing that, or giving warnings or notifying people. So
Yeah.
that might be a little bit of a culture shock in the beginning.
Especially, parking on the fire hydrant side, some people still continue to do that, and I guess they don't realize that they can't do that, and now parking in cul-de-sacs is no longer allowed. And the overnight parking, and I see a decent amount of overnight parking going on in the city, and so that's gonna be strictly enforced as well, so, yeah, we'll make sure that they'll get warnings.
Thank you, Mayor, appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Awesome. I didn't get a warning when I got a ticket the other night in another city. So I'm glad we'll be doing warnings.
Twinsburg.
I fell asleep.
We're the friendly city.
We are the friendly city, that's right. We are definitely the friendly city. Worst $10 I spent. All right, not really. All right, any other conversation on 53? All right, I'd like to, Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Benacci?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
All right, so ordinance 53, 2025 passes 7-0. Ordinance 56, 2025.
An ordinance adopting the tax budget of the city of Twinsburg, Ohio for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2026, and submitting the same to the county auditor and declaring an emergency.
All right, Mr. Fury had a great suggestion to move forward with this tonight, and I agree. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the 3 reading rule and pass ordinance 56, 2025 as an emergency.
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Any discussion on the waiving of the 3 reading rule? You were going to say something, Mr. Fury?
I was not.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something. All right, Shannon, call the roll, please.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Benacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
All right, so the motion to waive the 3 reading rule passes 7-0. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 56, 2025 as an emergency.
I'll second.
All right, Mr. Fury seconds. Any other discussion on that? All right, Shannon, call the roll, please.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Benacci?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
All right, ordinance 56, 2025 passes 7-0 as an emergency. Ordinance 57, 2025.
An ordinance requesting and authorizing the Summit County Board of Elections to place upon the City of Twinsburg ballot at the general election of November 4th, 2025, the question of whether ordinance number 49, 2025, rezoning certain property from C2 commercial use to I1 intensive commercial and light industrial use be approved and declaring an emergency.
All right, this time I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance 57, 2025 in its third and final reading. May I have a second?
I will second.
All right, Ms. Labby seconds. Again, we want to keep this consistent with ordinance 49, 2025, so we can get everything to the Board of Elections. Any other conversation on that? No? Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Benacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
All right, so the suspension of the 3 reading rule passes 7-0, so I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 57, 2025 as an emergency. May I have a second?
I will second again.
Ms. Labby seconds. Any discussion on this? Shannon, call the roll, please.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Benacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
All right, motion, ordinance 57, 2025 passes 7-0 as an emergency. Ordinance 58, 2025.
An ordinance amending Chapter 1116 signs of the codified ordinances of the City of Twinsburg regarding regulations concerning the maximum number of days a yard sign can be displayed in the city.
All right, so ordinance 58, 2025 now stands on its second reading. I'd like to make a motion to send ordinance 58, 2025 to the Planning Commission for review and report. May I have a second, please?
A second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Any conversation on that? I think we discussed that a little bit earlier. No? All right, Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
All right, motion passes 7-0. All right, thank you. Ordinance 59, 2025.
An ordinance amending the regulations in the Twinsburg codified ordinances relative to the Architectural Review Board.
Okay, ordinance 59, 2025 now stands on its second reading. Ordinance 60, 2025.
An ordinance amending Ordinance 94, 1999 relative to the city's Community Reinvestment Program.
All right, ordinance 60, 2025 now stands on its second reading. Resolution 61, 2025.
A resolution designating the composition of the Twinsburg Summit County Tax Incentive Review Council and declaring an emergency.
This time I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance 61, 2025 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
Second.
Was that you? Mr. Bellin seconds. Again, the reason for the suspension of the three reading rule is to get the members appointed as soon as possible so the meeting can be convened. Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Abstain.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
All right, so the suspension of the three reading rule passes 6-0. I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 61, 2025 as an emergency. May I have a second?
A second.
All right, Mr. Bellin seconds. Any discussion?
The reason I'm abstaining is my name's on the legislation to be appointed to this board. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there any further discussion? No. All right, Shannon, call the roll, please.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Abstain.
All right, ordinance 61, 2025 passes 6-0 as an emergency. Ordinance 62, 2025.
An ordinance establishing salaries, wages, and employment descriptions for certain employees of the city and updating classifications of employees to be known as the salary ordinance and declaring an emergency.
This time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance 62, 2025 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Walker will second. The reason for the suspension is so the changes can go into effect as soon as possible. Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Okay, suspension of the three reading rule passes 7-0. So I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 62, 2025 as an emergency. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bellin seconds. Any discussion on any of this? 62? No. All right, Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
All right, ordinance 62, 2025 passes 7-0 as an emergency. Ordinance 63, 2025.
An ordinance amending the current year appropriations for the various special revenue fund accounts as established in Ordinance 120, 2024, the appropriation ordinance for the City of Twinsburg for the year 2025, and affirming cash transfers and declaring an emergency.
All right, this time I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance 63, 2025 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bellin beat you to the punch, and he seconds. We want the appropriations to go in effective as soon as possible, so that's the reason for the emergency. Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
All right, suspension of the three reading rule passes 7-0. So I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 63, 2025 as an emergency. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Any further discussion on any part of this? Nope. All right, Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Benacci?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
All right, so ordinance 63, 2025 passes 7-0 as an emergency. Resolution 64, 2025.
A resolution authorizing the city engineer to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission's State Capital Improvement Program and to execute contracts as required for the Ridgewood Drive Improvements Project and declaring an emergency.
All right, this time I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance 64, 2025 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Barr seconds. Again, the reason for the suspension is so that legislation can accompany the grant application and meet the deadline. Any other discussion? All right, Ms. Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Benacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Okay, suspension of the three reading rule passes 7-0, so I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 64, 2025 as an emergency.
Second.
All right, Mr. Benacci seconds. Any discussion on 64, 2025? Nope. All right, Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Benacci?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 64, 2025 passes 7-0 as an emergency. Resolution 65, 2025.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with R.E. Warner for professional services relative to the construction of a new service garage complex.
Resolution 65, 2025 now stands on its first reading. Resolution 66, 2025.
A resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant from the state of Ohio administered through the Federal Transportation Alternative Program and declaring an emergency.
This time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance 66, 2025 in its third and final reading. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Benacci seconds. Again, the reason for the suspension of the three reading rule is that funding is available in 2026, and the city cannot meet the milestones unless the work starts as soon as possible. And I would just like to say I want to thank again Patrick and Amy for all their work on this. I'm very excited for this. So thank you to them again. Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Benacci?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
All right, suspension of the three reading rule passes 7-0. This time I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 66, 2025 as an emergency. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Benacci seconds. Any discussion on anything 66 related? Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Benacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Okay, so resolution 66, 2025 passes 7-0 as an emergency. Resolution 67, 2025.
A resolution appointing one member to the Board of Building and Zoning Code Appeals and declaring an emergency.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to amend Resolution 67, 2025 to include the name of Thomas Allen. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Ms. Labby seconds. Is there any conversation on that?
You did a good interview.
Very good interview. Very good interview. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Benacci?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
All right, so that passes 7-0. So I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place Resolution 67, 2025 as on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bellin. The reason for the suspension of three reading rules, obviously, we want to get him appointed right away so he can attend the meetings as soon as possible. Any questions on that? Comments? Shannon, call the roll, please.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Benacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
All right, suspension of the three reading rule passes 7-0. So I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 67, 2025 as an emergency as amended. May I have a second?
Second.
Yield.
Ms. Labby seconds. Any conversation on Resolution 67? Shannon, call the roll, please.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Benacci?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
All right, so Resolution 67, 2025 passes 7-0 as amended as an emergency. That brings us to unfinished business, new business, miscellaneous. We'll start them here with Mr. Fury.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On June 25th, the Hilton Garden Inn is sponsoring a Red Cross blood drive again. I'll be participating. They have openings from 7:30 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night. The Red Cross website is redcrossblood.org. There's a severe shortage of blood that's needed, and in the summer, they because of the activity, the amount of donations go down. So you can support this blood drive at the Hilton Garden Inn on the 25th. Contact the Red Cross. They'd be happy to schedule you. Mike DeCillo has served the city and our homeowner association for many years and retired. He was talking to me the other day. He and his wife, Eileen, are going to have their 70th wedding anniversary on the 18th of this month. There's not a lot of people that I know that get to 70. So congratulations to the DeCillos. And lastly, not to embarrass my colleague, but Mr. Bell and Son crew threw a no-hitter in a high school playoff game and is still in the state playoffs. He's going to play down in Akron at the big stadium on Friday. And I think that's really cool because, I mean, who throws a no-hitter at a playoff game in high school? That's just awesome. Legendary. Historic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Bonacci.
Just a reminder that this Saturday at the Public Works, this document shredding event is taking place from 9 to noon. 6 boxes of shreddable material. Let's keep it to paper, keep all the plastics and metals and non-paper products out of it. This is intended to get shredded documents that are sensitive in nature, so bank statements, financial kind of stuff, health-related stuff. The regular material, regular paper products, whether it's receipts or junk mail, newspapers, could go into regular shred bins. Let's try to keep this to the sensitive information. The Environmental Commission gets it off to the recycler after it's shredded. It's a great event and great to provide it for the city.
Thank you for the reminder, Mr. Bonacci. Appreciate that. Mr. Bell.
Thank you. Yeah, I got 2 things this evening. So by my count, we had 18 pieces of legislation this evening with 25 votes. I had a brief conversation with the law director earlier in the week, and I wanted to bring up the concept of a consent agenda for council. Certainly nothing that we need to, we have to move forward with, but I think it would be a good opportunity for pieces of legislation where, these things that we do on a regular basis, whether it's quarterly or yearly, there's typically very little discussion about them. That's not to say that we have to do anything like that. If there's any other piece of legislation that we want to talk about, any member of council can pull it out. I don't know, Mr. Vizetta, do you want to add anything to, am I relaying our conversation accurately?
No, I think you're spot on. The concept of the consent agenda, as I seen before and seen work well, does exactly that one thing that you talked about, which vests every individual council member with the right to pull something off the consent at the meeting and have it handled individually and discussed individually. So that is a feature that can be programmed.
Can you explain that better?
Yeah, so effectively, it's, say we've got 10 pieces of legislation on an evening, and they are all, for lack of a better term, housekeeping type items. We would lump them together in one vote. So rather than reading through, they would all be on the agenda, so we're not hiding anything or anything like, they would all be on the agenda, but they would all be passed via one vote and one reading.
Gotcha.
So you read them all by title, like you do, and that would be the consent portion of the agenda. And then while you're reading it by title, any one member can say, hey, pull that one. You don't need a motion, it's like just say, pull it. And that would kick it to outside of the consent to be handled individually. Once you get done with reading the legislation by title, then you have one vote, well, 2 votes. You'd have a motion to suspend the 3 reading rule and then a motion to adopt. Instead of doing 10 separate.
So,
Heard
nothing that we need to decide, but I just thought, Mayor?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for bringing that up, Mr. Bellin. We've talked about this, and You know, when I served on the Bedford Heights City Council for 10 years, we always used a consent agenda, and it was just a more efficient way to run the meeting, and it went very smooth. And as been said before, and I don't want to keep repeating it, but any councilman that wants to have a piece removed and read separately, that there's no problem with that. That's always been the case. So, again, thanks for bringing that up. I think it'll really, really help our council meetings to be a little more efficient.
And then the only other thing I had, thank you, Mr. Fuhrer, I appreciate it. I would like to wish my son, Crew, and his teammates from University School the best of luck on Friday. They're playing in the baseball state semifinals. He does have several teammates on that team that live in Twinsburg as well. This is the furthest they've ever gone this year, and it's been a really fun ride, so good luck, man. Nothing further, thank you.
Well, thank you. I really don't have anything to add. I apologize if I seemed out of sorts tonight, long few days, and that's all I have. And your turn, Ms.
Well,
Labby.
then I wish you an early birthday wish.
Thank you.
I hope your week goes better.
I'm going to
And,
take the
happy
weekend
birthday
off,
on
actually.
Saturday.
I think I'm going to take off Saturday and Sunday, first time. As long as I can remember, I'm going to have 2 days off.
Nothing further for me.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Ms. Walker?
I have nothing, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Barr?
Happy Father's Day to all the dads this Sunday.
That's right. That's right.
There you go.
I have nothing this evening, thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Pizzana?
Nothing. Thanks.
Nothing? Nothing, Ms. Collins?
I actually do. Just so everyone knows, we do have one opening on the ARB. We're taking applications until June 30th at 4:30. We did not have any candidates apply for the open Jedi position we have, so that will be opening back up until filled. So
Awesome. And we want to do another executive session here?
we do not know
I
that.
just wanted, I didn't want to know if this was something more you wanted to add or it was different. Okay, perfect. That is excellent. So at this time, I would like to adjourn the council meeting at 8:21.